everyone, I'm Allison Smith. We are so happy to have you here with us from the Energycast studios in Oak Ridge, Tennessee. Let's take a look at November's top stories. The work in Oak Ridge is not slowing down. A new fiscal year brings a new set of big projects. We'll show you what's on the list for 2026. And from demolition to billions in development, we have more on how Oak Ridge's Reindustrialization team is turning cleared land into a powerhouse for America's energy future. Plus, science, math, and a whole lot of fun. Some East Tennessee classrooms are getting a boost from UCOR. See how the STEM mini grants are helping kids learn. A cleanup crews at Oak Ridge National Laboratory are making way for the future by taking down some of the past. ORNL and UCOR are preparing more than a dozen facilities and the lab's central campus for demolition. Here's more on how they're laying the groundwork for what's next.
ORNL and UCOR are taking down old contaminated buildings at ORNL to make way for modern science and research missions.
In taking down those facilities, we essentially provide footprint. Imagine it as a clean lot or a space where you could build. It is then up to Oak Ridge National Laboratory to decide what they want to build there.
Crews are now preparing 17 facilities for demolition, including the Oak Ridge Research Reactor, the former Isotope Development Lab, and other highly contaminated structures known as Isotope Row.
I like to watch buildings being demolished, but in order to do that, we actually have to take all of the material out of the buildings first. So we'll go in and we'll remove hot cells, which are heavily shielded areas where people used to work. We'll take out piping and equipment. We try to get as much risk out of the building as we can before we actually demolish it. The last step is actually seeing the big equipment come in and physically knock down the building.
Earlier this year, for the first time, crews carried out 2 demolitions at once. And in the last 3 years, ORNL safely removed the low-intensity test reactor and the bulk shielding reactor, proving their track record at ORNL.
From a master planning perspective, you're looking at older facilities that are no longer viable, that can't provide the means that the researchers need to be able to be effective in their research and their science programs. So we're getting rid of those places, and then we are cleaning that space up so that we can build a newer, more modern structure like the one we're standing in today.
That structure is the Translational Research Capability, or TRC. The 100,000 square foot facility was built on cleared land that once housed a Manhattan Project-era building. Today, the TRC is a state-of-the-art lab designed for computing and material science research in the lab's central campus.
We designed this building and the lab space in this building to do experiments that we couldn't do in our previous lab space. And so this is designed to enable very low noise, which helps us push on these quantum technologies and do things that we couldn't otherwise do.
Because of ORNL's ongoing cleanup work, additional land will be available for other facilities that can advance ORNL's world-leading research.
One of the big goals of the administration is to use federal lands to support new science and research missions, new defense missions, and commercial missions. And Oak Ridge is a place where all of those things are happening simultaneously.
The Oak Ridge Office of Environmental Management is preparing for another busy year of cleanup across the Oak Ridge Reservation, from major demolitions to land transfers. Energycast's Sierra Hellemans has more about what to expect in fiscal year 2026.
With fiscal year 2026 now underway, our teams have their sights set on a new list of high-priority projects that will clear away old infrastructure, reduce inventories of waste stored on site, and open land for reuse. Crews are drastically altering the skyline of the Y-12 National Security Complex by removing the 2.5-acre Alpha 2 building. The former uranium enrichment facility is already halfway down, and once complete, will open up much-needed space to support national security missions. Just steps away, workers will also begin tearing down the old steam plant, eliminating outdated infrastructure and enabling modernization efforts underway. At the Oak Ridge National Laboratory, teams will continue tackling some of the site's oldest and most contaminated facilities. That includes demolition on the last portion of the former radioisotope development laboratory and the removal of several labs known as Isotope Row. These projects open land in the heart of Central Campus for new facilities that will advance research and innovation missions. But old buildings aren't the only thing disappearing. OREM is also working to steadily eliminate the inventory of uranium-233, which is the highest priority cleanup project at ORNL. Teams are set to process and dispose of another 50 canisters of U-233 this fiscal year. These efforts are removing a significant risk and will avoid considerable costs in the future associated with keeping the material safe and secure. Meanwhile, employees will finish monitoring groundwater levels for the Environmental Management Disposal Facility project, and will use that data to finish the facility's design. Finally, OREM will complete the transfer of hundreds of acres to the community for economic development, and more than 3,000 acres to the state of Tennessee for conservation and recreation. Together, these projects represent the next chapter in Oak Ridge's cleanup mission, paving the way for future growth and opportunity in the years ahead.
There's a new face on the Oak Ridge leadership team. Teresa Robbins has been named Deputy Manager for the Oak Ridge Office of Environmental Management. Robbins brings more than 20 years of experience in nuclear operations, engineering, and safety across the DOE complex. She previously served as acting administrator of NNSA and also led the Y-12 field office. Another big investment in nuclear is coming to East Tennessee. Radiant Industries has chosen Oak Ridge as the site for the world's first factory to mass-produce portable nuclear generators. The company announced a $280 million investment to build its new facility at the Heritage Center on land that once housed the K-29 and K-27 uranium enrichment buildings. The project will create 175 jobs and expand Radiant's development of its Kaleidos microreactor. It's a 1 megawatt portable power source designed for remote locations, military bases, and disaster response. The company says the technology could provide an emissions-free replacement for diesel generators.
We plan to begin construction early next year with our first generator shipping to customers not too long after. Within just a few years, the factory will be producing up to 50 nuclear generators per year, portable nuclear power that can provide energy anywhere, whenever it's needed. And so, in honor of the site's incredible legacy, and as a symbol of what's to come, Radiant will be renaming the historic location R50, a nod to both its roots as K-27 and K-29, and the 50 new generators that will roll off the line soon each year.
Radiant is the 6th company to locate in Tennessee using the state's Nuclear Energy Fund. Radiant's announcement is just the latest in a string of major investments pouring into Oak Ridge. Behind these multi-million-dollar projects is a team that's making reindustrialization possible, aiding companies that are searching for land to grow their operations. The signs of cleanup success are hard to miss in Oak Ridge. Once home to massive Manhattan Project and Cold War-era buildings, the East Tennessee Technology Park is now welcoming next-generation nuclear energy.
In 2020, all the last of the buildings came down, and all of a sudden it felt different. It looked different, and then Kairos came. And then when Kairos came and they had their public meeting, and it was so supportive, it was shortly after that that TriSoX announced. And those two big, those kind of your anchor tenants, if you will, then it took off.
Since then, Heritage and Horizon Centers have attracted some of the biggest names in nuclear. Kairos Power, Orano, TriSoX, BWXT, Oklo, and Radiant. Together, they're investing billions and creating thousands of high-paying jobs. But none of it happened by accident.
We've got a site planner, we've got a civil engineer, we have a GIS person, and they pull all the different things together. It might be showing them what infrastructure is available, size of a parcel, what environmental constraints we have, land use controls, and then helping them through that process.
Oak Ridge's reindustrialization team works behind the scenes, mapping, planning, and showing companies exactly where they can grow.
We're at our best when we're at a great big conference room table with multiple maps laid out and we're drawing on them. Like, that's when we're getting stuff done.
To date, more than 1,800 acres have been transferred for reuse, bringing in over $8 billion in private investment and supporting about 2,500 jobs.
It's rewarding because you know you're a part of something that's not just big on a local scale, it's big on a national scale. Like, this is going to change our country. I mean, we're going to have a power supply that just hasn't existed.
And the demand keeps growing.
It's getting harder. At first, we had a lot of land and there wasn't much going on. And then Kairos came and it's just grown from there. It's just been one announcement after another. The momentum's huge right now. Definitely more demand than we have supply. So we're going to have to start working to find new land to make available for these companies. Having to get more creative.
A good problem to have in a community that understands and accepts nuclear.
Once they start looking at Oak Ridge, they decide pretty quickly they want to be here. I think the biggest reason is because this community doesn't just accept nuclear, they embrace it. Like, the public meetings have been solely, just 100% supportive of everybody who wants to come.
What started as a cleanup mission is now one of East Tennessee's biggest economic success stories and is helping power America's energy future. A significant investment is headed to East Tennessee to strengthen America's nuclear defense. The Department of Energy's National Nuclear Security Administration just awarded BWXT a $1.5 billion contract to build 2 new plants in the state. The deal is part of a broader effort to secure a fully domestic supply of uranium for defense purposes. To support this effort, the company recently broke ground on a new centrifuge manufacturing development facility in Oak Ridge. The Irwin plant will use the centrifuges built here. A BWXT purchased 97 acres of land in the Horizon Center Industrial Park earlier this year for the facility. All right, the Tennessee Valley Authority's former Bull Run coal plant has found a new purpose. Commercial nuclear fusion could soon become a reality in Anderson County. TVA signed a letter of intent with Type 1 Energy to explore building a fusion power plant at their retired site. The Type 1 plans to start with a prototype called Infinity 1, designed to prove the technology. If successful, it could pave the way for Infinity 2, the world's first commercial fusion plant, producing reliable carbon-free power by the 2030s. The plant is expected to generate 350 megawatts of continuous electricity. The project builds on Tennessee's Nuclear Energy Fund, with Type 1 as its very first grant recipient. Officials overseeing a $42 million restoration effort at the Oak Ridge Reservation announced 7 projects recommended for funding. DOE provided funds to the state through an agreement that accounted for past impacts to natural resources from operations at the site. The funding supports projects that enhance local habitats and expand recreational spaces in Oak Ridge and nearby communities. $10 million are set aside in this first round of funding from the grant program for 7 projects. The city of Oak Ridge is connected to 2 of the projects, improvements at AK Bissell Park and Solway Park and Boat Ramp. The city's Recreation and Parks Director says these upgrades will make a big difference.
In Bissell Park, we do have a lot of traffic here and it's growing. We're having a larger residential population downtown now and they're using the park heavily. So by opening up the stream and enhancing the natural habitat here, improving the aquatic habitat, it's going to be a benefit to the community, enhancing the walking trail through the park. The goal is long-term, it will expand from the park out into the community and will increase the connectivity of our greenway system. We'll also have an opportunity to do some educational material, educational signage and whatnot, and with the high school right across the street and other schools nearby, there's an opportunity for environmental education as well. In Solway Park, that's a very busy park. The boat ramp gets a lot of use, the fishing pier gets a lot of use, but there's a lot of untapped potential out there, out along the lake. And so adding these enhancements, I think, will really make the park that much more attractive. That's also an area of town where we're seeing a larger residential population, more development.
The Trustee Council is now reviewing public comments on the draft restoration plan before finalizing grants. You can find details in the full plan on tn.gov. We've got some exciting news to share in this month's Community Corner. The historic Atomics Elks Lodge in Oak Ridge's Scarborough community is one step closer to a major restoration. Lodge members, community leaders, and local partners recently gathered to unveil renderings for a new community enrichment center. Thanks to a $1.9 million grant from the Department of Energy, the lodge will be renovated and expanded. The project is part of an effort to reinvest in underserved neighborhoods near cleanup sites. When it's complete, the facility will host youth programs, job training, and even a medical center, creating a new hub for opportunity in Scarborough.
We can offer this building, kids that may not have computers, or even if they do have computers and want to do their homework, they can come to the Enrichment Center. We feel that training programs for folks in the community can come to the Enrichment Center. We also feel that medical, right now I understand that the free medical clinic is in a bus. Now they have a permanent access or permanent place that they can come and see members of this community.
Construction could begin by the start of the new year. This month, we are celebrating the incredible educators who are making learning fun, and they're getting a little help from UCOR. The cleanup contractor handed out more than $50,000 in mini grants for STEM projects this year. We stepped into the classroom with a few of those teachers to see how every dollar is making a difference. In classrooms across East Tennessee, learning isn't just happening at desks.
They're learning so much, and they don't even know that they're learning while they're playing.
At Dilla Springs Elementary School, kindergartners in Carly Harrison's class are mastering spelling on a light table, burning off energy on a sensory path. Both purchased with grant money from UCOR's STEM Education Mini Grants program.
I have been so fortunate to receive the grant multiple years. I love adding new things to my classroom, and this enables me to do that.
For 15 years, UCOR's mini grants have helped K-12 teachers bring STEM to life. This year, 48 mini grants were awarded across 29 schools, totaling more than $50,000. In Oak Ridge, that support is fueling future engineers.
Ready? 3, 2, 1.
At Jefferson Middle School, Lego League coach Janie Shanafield has turned one team into 4 thanks to UCOR's help.
With this grant, we purchased stuff like Lego robots, which are super expensive, but you want as many Lego robots in the hands of kids as possible. They work on building them and coding them, and you just one robot is not enough for a team.
Okay, I think I need to add a little more speed to mine.
And in Campbell County, Wynn Habersham elementary teacher Tiffany Logsden is taking learning to a whole new world with virtual reality.
We are learning about erosion and things like that in 4th grade, so the kids get to walk through canyons. They even got to do some rock climbing last year. We go through a dinosaur museum, and they got to see fossils up close.
She says the grant has been a game changer, helping her students experience STEM in ways that paper and pencils just can't.
Oh, that was good. Now we do 8 times 2.
We're not just doing worksheets you can see that they are understanding the standards by doing hands-on things, which I think that clicks with them, and it's fun for me to see it.
These teachers are turning STEM into something every kid can get excited about. And we have got a lot more from this story on our YouTube channel. Be sure to subscribe to our channel for more exclusive stories and plenty of energy extras. And don't forget to follow us on our social media accounts. We post the show on our YouTube channel. Plus, if you liked a topic we covered here, we often have more on it over there. You can also follow EM News on our Facebook, LinkedIn, and X accounts. Well, thank you so much for joining us. You can watch on air or online, same places as always. We'll see you next month from the Energycast studio in Oak Ridge.